The Midday Mix on Mix 93.8.
6 minutes after 12, so we're going to be chatting to John Gilmour just before we head on to air. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
So, John, you have been involved in the education for quite some time. Founder and executive director of Leap Science and Math School, educational social entrepreneur and activist. And now you're involved with a project called NASCI. What does that stand for, and what exactly do you guys do?
Well, NASCI is a wonderful organization, just launched 2 or 3 years ago. And it's the National Association of Social Change Education Entities. It's quite a mouthful, but it's intentionally replacing the word NGO and NPO with social change entities because it's a more inclusive term. There's so many people in this country working hard to change education through non-profits, through agencies and so on, enterprises. And NASCI is the group identity that we're bringing everyone together to create coherence, connectedness, collaboration, and all those good things.
Fantastic. So what's your guys' plan to change the world of education in our country?
Well, the plan is really we work outside of the government structures, into the government structures, and often in close collaboration with the government structures. And the solution really lies in the big ideas that are practiced in small spaces currently, in little corners of our country, in Limpopo, in KZN, in places like Kanyisa, and all kinds of projects all over the country that are really successful in microcosms. We need to amplify those breakthroughs. We need to take the great ideas, as I say, from the small spaces and connect them and look for the solutions that will ultimately shift the system. Never in opposition to government, always in collaboration, but independent and free-thinking and creative and mistake-making and learning from our mistakes.
100%. Now, I believe you guys have an upcoming conference. What are you going to be doing at the conference, and what is the ultimate goal of the conference?
Well, to be honest, we've just finished our conference, but our conference was really a breakthrough conference. It was a conference celebrating the incredible work done by people in the most challenging and difficult situations, working in township communities, working across communities, working online because of COVID-19, working to publish, working to create. So it brought together a forum of people all able to share with great energy and purpose their breakthroughs. So it was a conference of positive engagement, looking at what is shifting and what the potential of real change is, and how COVID-19 and the darkness of that period has actually brought new light. And we're hoping that through doing that, we'll have more members join NASCI. All people working in education should become members of NASCI. And at the same time, those who not, to support such work and to make sure that we can align that work and develop a real social movement towards the change that we all imagine is possible.
100%. In your opinion, what needs to change in our country for our education system to be more empowered?
So it's got to be us. We've got to have different expectations of ourselves, different expectations of our schools, different expectations of our government. We can't hope that there will one day be a Moses to lead us out of this wilderness, or a decree from somewhere that says you must now dramatically all change. It's going to come from the realization that we're moving into a regenerative phase of life in the world. We're moving into the fourth industrial revolution so fast that we have to claim it and adapt and do it together and use the spirit of Ubuntu, which is we're all interconnected and we're all interdependent. And if we're not, we're part of the problem.
100%. Do you guys have systems as NASCI placed in the development of government schooling systems?
Well, we have many of the NASCI people are in school development teams, either working with existing schools to develop those schools, and of course there are some working with developing teachers to feed into the system, because that's another area of crisis. And so we have people just bringing teachers together in communities of practice. So the whole idea is to leverage the ideas that have been most effective and to accelerate so that we don't just make incremental change and that we can make transformational change in our country.
Do you believe that there's a big role to be played by technology in the sustainable future of education for South Africa?
It's a yes and no. Technology is not going to liberate us. Technology is not going to solve our problems. But using technology as part of our solution and as part of our experimentation to find the solutions is absolutely critical. So we must stop imagining that simply by providing technology the problem will go away. Our problem is embedded decades of internalized oppression. Our problem is that this system of education is not what's happened now, it's what's gone before for centuries. So we have to seek solutions, integrate the technology, use technology as a critical enabler and a critical scaling enabler.
100%. Couldn't have said it any better. John, thank you so much for being on the show. If we want more information on what you guys do and maybe to get in contact with you, is there a website we could go to?
Yes, go to nascee.org. It's NASCEE, and you'll find all kinds of information there and connections. And of course, if you belong to an NGO or an NPO or you are in any way interested in staying connected, just join us. We're open to membership. Membership's very affordable, and we'd love to expand our membership base so that the conference we have in the future will fill a stadium.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it, as well as the work that you do, John. Have a great Friday.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
The Midday Mix on Mix 93.8.